My name is Alina Kovac, and at 63 years old, I learned that sometimes you have to become iron to survive the forge. They say when you lose your spouse, you lose half of yourself. When Dmitry died 3 years ago, his family tried to take the other half too. But I'm still here, and they're the ones who lost everything. Dmitry and I met in a steel factory 45 years ago. I was a young engineer, one of 3 women in a field of 200 men. He was a foreman with calloused hands and kind eyes. We built our life the way we built everything, with precision, patience, and unshakable foundation. The factory gave us enough to buy land on the outskirts of town. Together, we designed our home. Not hired architects us. I drew the plans on our kitchen table while Dmitry calculated load-bearing walls. We poured the foundation ourselves one summer, mixing concrete until our backs screamed. Every brick, every pipe, every electrical wire, we knew where it went because we put it there. 40 years of marriage. 40 years of building not just a house, but an empire of memories. Then his heart gave out during breakfast. One moment he was complaining about the neighbor's dog, the next he was gone. His brother Victor showed up at the funeral in an expensive suit I'd never seen before. His sister Nadia brought her 3 sons, grown men I barely recognized. They hugged me, whispered condolences, and I felt their eyes scanning my grief like accountants reviewing spreadsheets. The attack came 6 weeks later. Victor arrived with a lawyer, a thin man with predatory eyes who spread papers across my dining table, the table Dmitry had built from reclaimed oak. "Alina, we need to discuss the estate," Victor said, not meeting my eyes. "There's nothing to discuss. Everything is mine." The lawyer smiled. "Actually, there are complications. The property was purchased during the marriage, but Dmitry's family contributed to the initial down payment. $5,000 40 years ago," I said flatly. "We paid them back within 2 years. I have the canceled check." Nadia leaned forward, her voice dripping false sympathy. "We're not trying to take anything from you, Alina, but our brother would have wanted his family taken care of. That house is worth over $800,000 now. We're entitled to our share." I looked at each of them. Victor, who hadn't visited in 7 years. Nadia, who'd missed Dmitry's last 3 birthdays. The nephews who couldn't name their uncle's favorite food. "Get out of my house," I said quietly. "We'll see you in court," the lawyer replied. And so began the war. They filed claims. They produced a letter forged, I knew immediately, suggesting Dmitry wanted the property split among family. They found a distant cousin to testify about Dmitry's wishes. They hired investigators to dig through our finances, looking for anything to discredit me. They made one crucial mistake. They underestimated the woman who'd survived 40 years in a male-dominated industry. I'd spent my career documenting everything. Every calculation, every decision, every detail. It was habit, armor I'd built when men twice my size tried to dismiss my engineering expertise. I applied those same skills to war. I found the original loan documents showing we'd repaid Victor within 18 months, not 2 years. I found the property surveys with both our signatures, proving joint ownership from day one. I discovered that the forged letter used fonts that didn't exist when Dmitry was supposedly writing it. Then I went hunting. I hired a forensic accountant, a young woman with a shark's instinct who reminded me of myself at 30. Within 3 weeks, she uncovered Victor's gambling debts, Nadia's son's failed business ventures, a pattern of family members circling Dmitry for money over the years, which he'd given freely and never mentioned. I found the emails, dozens of them from the months before Dmitry died, where Victor had asked for loans Dmitry had quietly refused. "You've taken enough," one email read. "I won't mortgage my home for your mistakes." Motive, beautiful, damning motive. But evidence wasn't enough. I needed to make them feel what they'd made me feel. I attended every deposition in black, not mourning clothes, but power suits I'd worn to factory board meetings. I answered every question with the precision of someone who'd spent a lifetime proving her competence to men who assumed she had none. Victor's lawyer tried to rattle me. Isn't it true, Mrs. Kovac, that you controlled the finances? Yes, I'm an engineer. I'm good with numbers. My husband trusted me. Didn't you isolate him from his family? No, his family isolated themselves. I have phone records showing 17 calls they never returned. The lawyer's face tightened. During Victor's deposition, my lawyer asked him about the gambling. He denied it. She produced casino statements. He claimed they were old. She showed dates from the month before Dmitri's death. Nadia's son tried to paint himself as the devoted nephew. My lawyer asked him to name his uncle's birthday. He couldn't. I watched them crumble, piece by piece. The trial lasted 3 days. The judge, a woman in her 50s who'd probably fought her own battles, listened with iron in her expression. When she ruled, her words were surgical. This court finds the claims frivolous, motivated by greed rather than genuine dispute. The property belongs entirely to Mrs. Alina Kovac. Furthermore, the plaintiffs will pay all legal fees and court costs. Victor's face went purple. Nadia wept real tears this time, tears of loss. But I wasn't finished. I took the house they'd tried to steal and transformed it into exactly what Dmitri and I had always dreamed. I converted the basement into a workshop and started a consulting business, mentoring young female engineers. I hosted seminars in my living room, the room they'd tried to claim. I established a scholarship in Dmitri's name for engineering students, not through his family's name, through ours alone. Every year, I throw an anniversary party on the date Dmitri and I married. I invite colleagues, friends, the lawyers who fought for me. I give tour of the house, telling stories about every corner we built together. Victor and Nadia are never invited, but I make sure they hear about it. Victor lost his business 2 years ago. The gambling finally caught up. He called once, asking for money. I let it ring. Nadia's sons scattered across the country, relationships fractured by the lawsuit and what it revealed about their mother. They thought grief would make me soft, that being 60 meant being defeated. They forgot I was forged in steel mills and factory floors. They forgot I'd spent a lifetime being underestimated and proving everyone wrong. My revenge wasn't just winning. It was thriving so completely, so visibly, that their failure became legendary. I'm 63 now. My hair is silver, my hands show age, but my spine is pure iron. The house stands as testament, not just to Dmitri and me, but to every battle fought and won. They tried to break me when I was most vulnerable. Instead, they forged me into something unbreakable. This is iron revenge, standing tall in the fortress you built, while those who attacked you crumble into rust.